Now, there's a YouTuber who said that black people chose to be slaves. I think his name Sotomayor. I'm not sure how to say his name properly, but basically this guy, whatever his name was, said that slaves had the option of choosing to be killed rather than being slaves. Now, so first of all, people have survival instincts. I should say that. Most people, if they were given a choice of living a little longer or dying right away, most people will choose to live a little longer. And black people or African, sub-Saharan African people are no different in that respect. So just like somebody, if it's a robbery, gunpoint, knife point robbery, sexual assault, etc., etc., most people will comply in order to live. So, for example, if you take United States soldiers in World War II or Korea, Vietnam, Somalia, Afghanistan, they're outnumbered by enemies, or their plane or helicopter gets shot down or crashes in enemy territory. They usually surrender to live another day instead of fighting to the death. Another example are the Jews during the Holocaust in World War II. According to the logic of that guy, of the YouTuber, the Jews chose to go to concentration camps so they could die in the Holocaust because they didn't fight to the death instead of complying. According to that logic, convicts choose to go to prison. They should all just tell the cops to shoot them instead of going to prison. So according to this guy's logic, all the big, bad, scary thugs, gangsters, mobsters, bikers are really actually pussies because they let the cops take them to jail. And the other thing is this idea that black people had the option to die or be slaves. It seems to be give the impression that some European slave buyers showed up on the coast of Africa in Senegal or Ghana, Nigeria, Congo, Angola, Mozambique. Like they showed up on the coast of Africa and said, "Hey, what's up, Kwame? Would you like to? I have a gun over here, and I have some chains over here. Would you tell me whether you would like to A, get shot and die, or B, be chained and become a slave?" Like he acts like they got this option, but there was no option. I don't think they wouldn't give people an option like that. You have to understand that people can be physically overpowered. So if a black person said, "I don't want to be a slave, I would rather die, you could kill me," well, they could just get 10 people to jump on him and tie him up, overpower him, because people can be physically overpowered. So they get a bunch of people to jump on him, tie him up, and then start torturing him until he's willing to work again. Because most people will do anything if they're tortured. And I'm sure this YouTuber guy, if he was tied up and they start torturing him, some people started torturing him, he would do anything, like just like anybody else. And they did. So basically, these slave owners did not want to kill slaves for the most part because they spent money on them. So it was a capital investment. They didn't want to destroy their investment, at least not until they got money from it or they got some return from the investment. So they would work a slave to death, but they would not want to just kill a slave because that's a waste of investment. When they paid all this money, then they don't want to just kill them, because that means they would just lose all that money they spent to buy the slave. But if they work the slave until he produces X amount of product, say X amount of sugar or cotton or whatever the commodity was, then if he dies from overwork, they still made money from it. And so they didn't usually kill slaves, but they did torture and mutilate a lot of them. So they could have a lot of people overpower the person and then start torturing and start mutilating. And so this YouTuber guy, he, assuming he's literate, I don't know if he's literate or not, but if he is, he can go and read books and read about the torture methods that they use and the mutilation. And there's a lot of drawings and photos of slaves with scars all over their backs. You can see drawings, they put metal masks on people's faces. They had all kinds of different torture methods. They maybe cut off their noses, cut off fingers, stuff like that. And these people didn't get all that stuff, all those scars and all that. They weren't all mutilated and didn't have all those scars on their back because they wanted to be slaves and because they were cooperating. It was because they were not cooperating. But rather than killing them, they would just have them physically overpowered and restrained, and then start to torture them. And that would also be a message to the other slaves to cooperate. So that's what they did. It wasn't like they just sat there and gave them a questionnaire and said, would you like to be a slave? Yes. Check yes or no, or fill out box yes or no. And if no, you're going to get killed. It wasn't like they gave them two options. It didn't work like that. So I don't know what this guy's talking about.